Mass Effect, probably my favorite game in the last 3 years. It just really pushed on storytelling and conversations and all of that to a new level for the whole genre and I think for the whole industry. Where do you feel that the greatest improvement in the second game is going to be?
Yeah, there's a lot of improvements, and we took feedback from press, from fans, from internal sources, and we applied it pretty much across the board. So I'll talk about a number of different areas we're improving that I think are all really exciting. One of the areas, the most visible maybe to players, is the intensity of the experience, and one of the areas that's more intense is combat. So this is as much a shooter action game as it is an RPG. So it's almost like a shooter RPG, and we've improved the precision of controls in combat, so it feels really tight as you're playing through it. We have improved cover system, a very dynamic system of AI for your party, a moment-to-moment movement system. We have tactical control on the battlefield over where you deploy your party members. And all these things combine into a very visceral experience, very intense experience that, again, it really makes it feel like it's a shooter as much as anything. Now that intensity translates to the dialogue as well, because there's interrupts where you can take control of the action, kind of just unleash Shepard's raw emotion. If he gets impatient, he just kind of punches through it and says, "I'm just going to just do whatever." A little bit, random in some ways, but it's just, what does he feel at that moment? That he's just going to do something. Exploration is another area in Mass Effect 2 that we got feedback on. The Uncharted worlds were fun in many ways, but we felt they could be improved in fidelity. We felt they could be improved in terms of integration with the main story arc. So they're still optional. You don't have to do them. But if you want to be successful in surviving this, what many call a suicide mission, you have to gather the best and brightest and the most dangerous individuals in the galaxy to accompany you on your team. And you might want to do some of these optional Uncharted worlds, which are pretty exciting and interesting and very high fidelity content. And also integrated in the main story arc in the sense that they'll make it more likely you'll survive. We've got an improved space exploration mechanic which uses up fuel, so it adds a little bit of risk and tension to the whole experience too. You get to decide where you want to explore and how you want to explore them, and the Uncharted worlds link into that too. And technically, we've improved a number of things in the main game too. We have a very tight frame rate. You see it, playing here. It's optimized experience, 30 frames a second, and it plays very fluidly as a result. Textures load, silky smooth.
Something that I did before I played the first game. I read the book Revelations, and I've read the book Ascension now before the second game. Could you give any hints as to what kind of hints that book gives to what's going on in Mass Effect 2?
Well, we talk about a corporation, that's part of the main game, and it would be spoiling the plot to say exactly what role that plays, but it does play a role, and it's part of the theme of Mass Effect 2. I guess it's this dark second act. It's a dark sequel to Mass Effect 1. And why is it that way? Well, I mean, in Mass Effect 1, it was as much as anything about humanity's entrance onto the galactic stage. And humanity came onto the stage kind of bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and naive, maybe about, there's all these galactic civilizations that are so, well-known and have been around for thousands of years and so smart and intelligent. But really, you lift the veil, and behind the scenes, it's actually pretty dark and sinister in many ways. And it's even more so now because there's a greater threat and a greater menace that has emerged, even greater than what was in Mass Effect 1. That's sort of the root cause of it all has come to bear as well. So not only are you really seeing the galactic civilizations for what they really are, you're also seeing this greater menace for what it really is too. So it's a dark second act as a result, and hence why it's almost like a suicidal mission unless you get the right resources on your side. Well, we've invested a lot in the backstory and the development of the world and the universe. We're only showing a portion of it in each game. But we are showing more of the alien races. You get to explore more of the backstory of some of the species you only had brief interactions with in the first game. We also are revealing some new alien races too, like Thane, who's the deadliest assassin in the galaxy, so you have to bring him alongside if you want to survive, and you get to learn what he's about and where he's from. And there's other characters like that are pretty interesting too. And of course, sort of the ambient creatures in the world and the quests you get to engage in as you proceed through the world. There's a lot of interesting things to uncover and explore there. So if you like that kind of thing, if you like learning more about the universe, there's a lot of it in Mass Effect 2 to learn and explore from.
I also think that the settings, some more city-esque settings and a little bit more like gritty settings. You showed off an Omega, for instance. Is that also part of it, that you want to show off those kinds of settings?
Yeah, no, I think we do. We want to show off, it all kind of goes back to this, it's a dark second act to the Mass Effect trilogy. And there's some really gritty and brutal places you have to go to that exist in the Mass Effect galaxy that you have to explore in Mass Effect 2 if you want to get through the story.